Kickback. As the leader of his own squad of Decepticons, Kickback is more independent than most of those under the command of Megatron. He uses his freedom to surround himself with friends, who he then blackmails into becoming his servants.
All right. Hey there, welcome back. It's eBEFOREi Video Reviews, here with Transformers Generations Fall of Cybertron Kickback. Now, Kickback is unique for me, because as a kid, I never owned an Insecticon ever. I had lots of G1 toys, never owned Insecticons. So this is exciting for me. I'm very excited to open this guy up. You've got lots of cool stuff on the back, like twin battle blades and disc launchers, and he turns into a Cybertronian insect. Because I suppose they're different once they hit Earth. I don't know. It's just a box. If you want to take a look at the bio, you certainly can. I won't stop you. You can press pause. Just don't forget to come back. And that's pretty much it for the box. On the bottom, they want you to buy Starscream and Sideswipe. So, there's that. Let's go ahead and get this toy open and see if he was worth my years and years of waiting, finally, for an Insecticon. Alright, so here's Kickback out of the box and transformed into bug mode. I was going to start Kickback off in his robot mode because that's the way he comes packaged and transform him for you back into bug. But the problem is the transformation to get Kickback into insect mode is really kind of finicky. I mean, it's one of those things that you just kind of mess with and you adjust and finally you get it right. And everyone would have been completely bored to tears to watch me do this, and without editing 7 minutes out of my transformation, I figured it would be just easier for me to start this way. Now, it's a bit different than, say, an Autobot or a car transformer, because everything pegs together just right and holds real firm. You don't have a lot of pegging together here. I mean, it feels tight, but you got to work at it to get it in a position where everything is really comfortable. So, long story short, we're going to start him in this mode and get him in the robot from here. As far as the bug mode itself goes, it's actually really good. He really has that G1 look, at least from what I remember of Kickback looking like. Again, I never owned him for G1, but this is a great representation of an Insecticon. I mean, he's kind of a cricket grasshopper. He has his, his kind of crickety legs right here. He's got his little cricket wings in there because crickets can fly. Or grasshoppers, or whatever. You know, I'm not a bug expert. I know that there's at least one bug expert watching this video going, "No, man, crickets and grasshoppers are part of different family." I'm sorry, I'm not an expert there. The face on Kickback is really great. The only thing I wish they would have done is painted the eyes. Because he's got this menacing look. I mean, he's got the antenna that stick up, these two great translucent eyes. There's light piping all in that whole front section there. And this kind of oddly gray jaw. Yeah, I probably would have liked that to be a different color than his legs right here. But all in all, the head sculpt on the insect mode looks fantastic. The gold paint on this character really looks good. I mean, it pops against the purple, and it looks great. Now, most of the video reviews that I've seen of Kickback, the color doesn't really translate well in video. The color actually ends up looking more of a blue. So hopefully in this review my lights are corrected enough to where you can see his true color. But he's really shockwave purple. I mean, he's really, really purple. Now the silver right here, these are painted. Unlike this, which is the color of the plastic, I think these front legs are actually a silver paint. They just look the same. On the side, you've got this kind of fluorescent purple like some of the other Fall of Cybertron figures that we've seen. Fluorescent right there, and you've got the silver paint right there, and silver down here, and then lots of purple and gray bits. He does have Dreadwing hand syndrome underneath his rear here, with the hand sticking out, but you know, how often are you going to pick up the insect and look at him like this? Speaking of which, picking him up and looking at him like this, he's got a lot of really neat detail. He's real spiky and jaggy, just like a real insect I think would be. I don't know, I would never go near one like this, but he's got all these real jagged edges. This is not soft plastic, this is hard. The only soft plastic on this figure are his antennae right here, which are soft. But he's just real kind of He's got a good feel, even from underneath. There's hardly no, besides his hands, there's just about no noticeable kibble, unless you're looking at these as being obvious legs, which I really don't. So all in all, I think the insect mode on Kickback looks great. Now, he's got this weapon, and the weapon is kind of cool, a little bit like a Beast Hunter weapon, where you push this thing in and it shoots out the disc, and there you go. There's no real spring in here, it's just sitting in there by pressure. And, you know, if you jam it hard enough, you can get a little bit of distance out of it. So it's kind of cool. You know, the gimmick aside, it's painted nice. It's got silver and gold and fluorescent purple and all that. Lots of nice in-plastic molded detail on top of this toy, which look great, and so as a weapon, it's kind of cool. Now, you can attach this weapon to the insect mode if you want to. It looks kind of silly if you do it, but you'll notice that there are a couple of slots here, and he's got these bits right here in his legs, and this really does fit in there quite nicely. So if you want him to carry his weapon, well, that's pretty much the way that you would do it, and now he's a heavily armored insect. Definitely not going near one of these if I see it outside. All in all, I really like the insect mode here. It works really well for me, and I would have no problem displaying him like this on the shelf. Alright, to get Kickback transformed, what you want to do is you want to basically lift these little pieces up right here and pull these guys out. These are the little wings, and these do attach to the weapon, and I'll show you how those attach to the weapon here in a few minutes. But basically, you just want to pull that out, and you want to start getting things kind of, just kind of loosened up. So you want to come around here, which become the robot feet, and you just kind of want to pull these things down just like that. You want to get right into this leg joint right here, because you'll find that what you're trying to do is you're trying to straighten this thing out. So what you want to get in is right in here. You'll notice that there's a hinge, and you just want to open that up so that it's flat. All right? You'll do that on both sides, and just do that until it's flat, just like that. Okay, come down here to the rear portion and split this apart, and yeah, his butt becomes his arms. There you go. Turn it around, and right now you just kind of have everything exploded, and it actually kind of looks like a spider from here. From here, what you want to do is you want to reach back here, grab this gold bit, and you just want to lift it up and bring it all the way around just like that. You want to take this tab right here, and you want to bend it all the way back down just like that. All right, that exposes the robot head, or exposes it even more, and you just want to turn that around. One thing I should mention also, in insect mode, you know, this basically is the top of his head. You probably saw that earlier. There's a big screw right there. That kind of sucks. I mean, you know, I don't want to see that on his head, but it is what it is. It's okay, but just, you know, note that Hasbro, you should have hidden that somehow. Okay, from here, you'll want to bring these pieces down and kind of lift this up. You don't want to bring it all the way down too early, because what you're ultimately doing is you're bringing these pieces together, which form his waist section, all right? And that doesn't tab together in itself, but you'll notice that you've got these two clip points that are formed, or if they form kind of a peg. And on the underside of this, you've got a little peg slot, and you just want to go ahead and pull that all the way down until it locks into place. And what that does is it keeps this solid. Okay, so at this point, you want to take the legs and you want to just straighten out the ball joints. And you want to turn it around so these purple bits right here are in the front. You want to go ahead and collapse these things in and pull them down. You want to turn these feet around, just like that, on both sides, rinse and repeat, and you're in good shape just like that. Now you want to come back up to the top of the figure, and you basically just want to twist the arm, twist again. That way you've got the ball joint exposed and you're giving him an elbow. And then you take this piece right here, and it's on a little slider joint. You just want to slide it up like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Turn, slide, and you're good. Now, you want to take these shoulder pieces, and you've got a little ball joint cutout right there, and you want to lift that up until it won't lift anymore. And you basically get him into a position sort of like that. Now, from here, you can do what you want with this chest piece right here. What I like to do is I kind of like to flail him out a little bit. So you basically just kind of get him looking like that. Bug hands in the back, you just kind of tuck them back there as good as you can. Now from here, again, you've got some choices. You can take these things right here, And you can make them more G1 and kind of leave them up in the air and take these little wing bits and peg them back in. You can do that. I personally don't like the way that looks. Despite the fact that that's pretty G1 accurate, I don't like to do that. So what I like to do is I just kind of like to bend these over and give him kind of the black arachnia over the shoulder pinchers. All right, from here you're really just ready to stand him up, pose him up, and here we have Kickback in his robot mode. And I'm telling you, his robot mode looks great. The transformation, as you just saw, is a little bit finicky, but you know, the more that you do it, it actually becomes fun. I mean, there's so many moving parts on this guy that what you end up with is an insect that looks pretty good. There's very little kibble showing, and then you transform him into a bot. And again, I mean, he's got some kibble, but really, I mean, considering we just took him from a grasshopper to a robot, not bad. Not bad at all. Looking at his details up close, he's got kind of a mishmash of faces. You know, in a way he kind of looks like a Viacon, and another way he looks like an Insecticon. He kind of resembles a little bit of the Transformers Prime Insecticon face. So he's got a little bit of everything going on, and it really does end up working for this guy. He's got a nicely painted, albeit small, Decepticon symbol right here on his chest. And you know I'm a fan of Decepticon symbols, so I'm happy to see that there. You do have some silver bits right here inside of his chest, and some real nice in-plastic mold detail really all throughout this figure. You've got the gold bits right here in the upper arm plates. You still have the spikiness on the figure, still giving him that kind of, you know, that bug-like effect. I love these pincher claws over his shoulder. Again, that look isn't going to be for everybody, but it's the way that I like to pose mine up. Now, one potential drawback is, you know, some people don't like any kibble on the arms, and, you know, he does have that there. And that could be sort of seen as a weapon, or it could be seen as just a big old fat piece of arm kibble. So, you know, it really depends on whether or not that bothers you. It doesn't bother me at all. Articulation on Kickback, his head is on a ball joint, so he's got good neck movement. His arms are on not a ball joint, but a dual hinge, and so you've got a lot of movement in the arms. You've got a ball joint in the elbow. You have no waist articulation whatsoever. You've got a ball joint, a swivel, pretty decent knee hinge right here, and then you've got feet articulation. You can really explode the leg if you want to get some real crazy poses out of them. But there's quite a bit that you can do with Kickback. Now, these wings, as I mentioned, you can put them back here and have it stick straight up in the air. You know, you'll get the idea here as I start to do this, but, you know, you can put these in him like that. I don't personally like that. So there's a few things that you can do with these. You can put them in his hands, and they end up being sort of kind of like little dagger knives. And quite frankly, that's not really a bad look. You know, he's got these kind of dagger flaming purple energon weapon sword thingies. And to me, that's great. I really do like the way that looks. So you can have him hold them in his hands, and that certainly works out fine. You can also take these things, and you can put it inside of this disc launcher in a few different places. This has a bit of a Beast Hunter vibe to it, but you can stick it in there like a pair of wings, and you can flip those either way, whatever you feel comfortable doing. You'll also notice that you've got two diagonal slots here, so he can hold this thing like this, or you can take these guys right here, and you can slot them in here at an angle, and again, it's got that kind of bird look to it, but, you know, you can do that too, and he can hold this massive weapon in his hand, and, you know, you could do that. I don't want to do that, but you could. Size comparison, he is sized pretty well for the line. So there he is next to Shockwave from the Fall of Cybertron line, and there he is next to Starscream. And if I get this guy posed back into position, you can see that he's actually just a little bit taller than Starscream. And that's not right. Oh, Starscream, if you were just a tiny bit taller. But that's on another review that you've already seen. Alright, so that's my review of Fall of Cybertron Kickback. Is it a must-have figure? For me, absolutely. I am so happy that I finally own an Insecticon, and he's a really, really cool Transformer. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. As I'm recording this, I'm 1 day away from my 6-month anniversary as a channel. And eBEFOREi has been a tremendous success thanks to each and every one of you who subscribe to me, who comment, who send me feedback. I appreciate it so much. We're well on our way to being a very successful channel. I think we're doing great, and I can't wait to bring you guys more and more content. So thank you again so much. If you want to chat with me on Facebook, and well, why wouldn't you? You can find me at facebook.com/eBEFOREi. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/e_before_i. If you're watching this video anywhere other than YouTube, you can find my whole channel at youtube.com/eBEFOREiNet. So thanks again. We'll see you back here real soon.